Welcome, everyone. This is the Greater Connector series with the Walkway Over the Hudson. This is a monthly program that we put on to enrich our lives about the local history in and around the Walkway Over the Hudson. I'm going to introduce Shirley Rinaldi, who will be explaining about tonight's presentation. I also want to let you know, if you would like to become a member of the Walkway or would like to support in any way, we have some amazing programs and events that happen every month. You can visit our website at walkway.org and just click onto the event button or the programs button to get lots of information about our programs. Shirley, take it away.
Sure. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're quite excited because I think we are bang on the ball. We have two wonderful presenters tonight that are going to tell us about the Dutchess Urban Trail that's in the works to happen. And not many people know about it. So I think we're all looking forward to hear about it, the concept, how it will affect our lives, how it will affect the walkway, and everything about it. So let me introduce you to our two presenters. First of all, we have Brendan Fitzgerald. PE is a principal and founding partner of HVEA. Brendan began his career at the NYSDOT after graduating from Cornell. He is a skilled and versatile professional who has served as project manager, quality control, lead environmental, lead traffic and resident engineer on many of the HVEA's high-profile projects. Recently, he was the resident engineer construction quality control engineer for the $134 million design-built Road 17 at Route 32. Reconstruction project in Woodbury, New York, which is a central hub for commuters, tourists, and shoppers. He has also managed all of the HVA's rail trail projects and has participated in many miles of trail in the Hudson Valley. Our other presenter, Jack Gordon, PE, is HVA's engineering project manager for the Dutchess Urban Trail project. He is a professional engineer with a mechanical engineering degree from Binghamton University. He joined HVEA engineers in 2009 and has worked on a multitude of transportation projects, including highway improvements, intersection upgrades, bridge replacements, rail trails, and sidewalk constructions. His projects have all involved all aspects of design, from conception, scoping, analysis, environmental planning, coordination, inspection, and in securing NYSDOT/FHWA design approval to the preparation of final plans, specifications, and estimate and construction inspection. Jack has personally been involved in the design of the shared use trails in Dutchess County, Ulster County, Orange County, Columbia County, and Putnam County. So thank you, gentlemen, both, for giving up your time to do this for us. And whenever you're ready.
All right, we're going to share our screen, make sure that everyone can see it. I don't know if Shirley, you can give us a thumbs up.
Yep.
Okay. Well, thanks to Jamie and Shirley for inviting us to give you this presentation. I'm going to give you a very brief overview, and then Jack is going to sort of give you more detail about the trail and its connections. But we're excited to present this project to you. You know, happy Sunday, happy daylight savings time. My wife actually set all the clocks yesterday, so I made all of my time mistakes yesterday, not today, which is, I guess, beneficial. And then when we're done, you can switch to the agenda. But after we get through our presentation, we're more than willing to spend any amount of time to answer any questions that you guys might have. So we're calling this project the Dutchess Urban Trail. It actually doesn't have an official name yet, so that's something that you might see something different somewhere in the near future. I was thinking as you guys were opening up this meeting, I'm like, the Great Connector doesn't sound like a bad name for this trail, but this trail is a little bit different than the other trails, you know, that are in the area. It's planned to be very wide and open. It's going to be 16 to 22 feet wide of paved width. It's going to have features and characteristics not seen on other trails in the area, like split bicycle and pedestrian use. It's going to have lighting. It's going to be maintained. It's going to be plowed in the winter. It's going to be available for use 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all year long. So that's, you know, we're looking at this project as not just a trail, but it's a transportation network. And that's really what makes this trail a real unique opportunity. If you look at this graphic we have up, certainly all of these rail trail projects, you know, the nucleus of them is a linear park. But this really has so much more to offer. It offers the same things as the other rail trails. It offers recreational opportunities and connections to nature. It's going to provide enhanced access to a lot of things in the area, including the north end of the city, Mansion Square Park, College Hill Park, the Dutchess Rail Trail, the walkway over the Hudson, and all the way up north to the Quiet Cove, the county park on the Hudson. As I indicated, importantly, it's a non-motorized transportation facility connecting people and places. It'll be a connection to points of interest, transit, businesses, restaurants, healthcare, services of all types. It'll be a way to get to work. It'll offer opportunity for public gatherings and displays of local art. The county is committed some space on the trail to being able to display art. And when Jack goes through in a little bit more detail, I'll show you some areas where there's some opportunity where there's going to be some additional space to have you know, some community you know, planned events in those areas. But we're looking at the trail, hoping that it stimulates some economic growth, creates some new growth, and importantly, some redevelopment. Some of this potential includes the abandoned Schatz manufacturing facility along Fairview Avenue, which is right adjacent to this trail system. This project, I mean, it's an important project. It's a transformative project. It's going to offer immediate benefits, you know, to surrounding area residents and the community at large. Just going to give you, Jack's going to tell you all the connections in more detail than I am, but I just wanted to give you a general overview of sort of the backbone of this trail. It has actually two backbone legs to it. We call it the eastern leg, which is in green, the long green line, which extends from Hamilton Street in the north end of the city, up north into where the old psychiatric hospital is, that's being redeveloped as Hudson Heritage. You guys are, I'm sure, are familiar with. The ShopRite is open now, and a few other retail establishments up in Hudson Heritage. There's going to be housing put there, and that development is committed to carrying this trail through and down to Route 9, so that it does connect into the county park, the Quiet Cove Park, right on the river. The western leg is going to extend from Fulton Street out to the waterfront, basically right through the heart of the Marist campus. Marist is also excited about this project. It's going to have some internal connections to Marist, right to the center of their campus. It's going to have another connection at the McCann Center. So it's going to be a way for people in the community to get there and watch sporting events. So it's going to offer some really great stuff there. At the end of the trail, it's going to connect down into the waterfront, into the sidewalk networks that's there, up to where you can walk up safely to Hoffman Street and across out to the waterfront or down to the train station and Warriors Park. It's also going to have some, what we're going to call just street improvement connections. And those connections are going to be on Fulton Street, sort of connecting the links across, and on West Cedar. And then in the city itself, there's going to be sort of like a third phase of this project where the county is going to study how they can improve wayfinding and you know, some means in the north end of the city to get to the trailhead at Hamilton. There are some longer range plans for a potential trail along the Fallkill, and there's some hope that this network is going to connect into that, you know, if and when that can become a reality. I just wanted to give you a sort of a real brief overview of some of the public outreach that we did. I mean, some of you guys have probably heard about this trail, maybe some of you haven't, but we did do a fairly extensive public outreach program probably more public outreach on this project than any project that I've been involved in my 30-year career. But the county set up some steering committees that included, project stakeholders. We created a website for the project. That website is still active, right, Jack? Yeah. So the DutchessCountyUrbanTrail.com. On that website, we had an online survey. We had, I think, more than 500 people participate in that survey. We got more than 3,000 hits on the website, and most of those unique hits too wasn't the same people over and over again. We did go out during the good weather months. We did go out to different places, Walkway Over the Hudson, Warriors Park, Farmers Market, some places where we just had some pop-up events just to give a little information about the project and some upcoming meetings. And we did have 2 formal public informational meetings. The first one was virtual because we were sort of smack dead in the middle of the pandemic. And then we had a hybrid open house in the north end of the city in August. And we received good participation. We would have liked to see more. We even reached out to a youth group at the Trolley Museum. So we really got out and talked to a lot of people about the project. It's just a really brief overview of the steering committee. You can see all the people that were involved: Scenic Hudson, Marist, Hudson Heritage, the county, the city and town of Poughkeepsie. We did have even separate meetings with all the affected emergency services within the area, from the county down through the town level, and even Marist security, just trying to make sure that, and Jack will talk more about this, but certainly, one aspect of this trail being used in the way that it's intended to be used and open around the year and around the clock, it really needs to be a safe trail. So we were happy to have all that input, and we made adjustments to accommodate some of the needs of these responders. Then we had a bunch of community meetings, similar to what we gave a few Zoom meetings like we're doing with you guys, and Scenic Hudson is a big player in this project. They're the ones who originally purchased the abandoned rail corridor, and then they transferred it to the county to develop this trail. So just a couple little things out of the website and the survey that we gave. Just one of the questions related to some of the factors that inhibits people from either walking or biking, and these are mostly common sense things. But basically, all we wanted to illustrate here is how how this trail is going to be able to overcome these obstacles. It's connecting a lot of convenient things, from the city to the town to the waterfront to the hospital to some new development to Marist. It's just endless. All the things that it connects, and it's sort of all the things that inhibit people from wanting to walk or take their bike. We're hoping this trail, it's not a long trail, but it connects so many important and vital things within our area that we expect it to get a tremendous amount of use. And lastly, this is just from some of our survey stuff, and kind of what I wanted to indicate to you is that we had these initial concepts for the trail. I think one of the reasons our firm was probably selected for this project is we introduced the county to this concept of having the split use trail, having bicyclists and pedestrians on the same trail but separated. And I think that's one of the things that helped us get the project. But then after that, it was a very collaborative effort in developing and refining our design to meet everyone's needs and to fit within some constraints. We're at a real exciting time now. We're actually sending this out for bid, the first phase of this project out for bid next week. It's a multi-phase project. Jack will give you a little bit more information about that. But this is just some of the stuff that came up in our in our survey about what people wanted for amenities on a trail, and it's just interesting to go through this list and see that everything on this list, with the exception of probably the trash cans, that's something that's been problematic for the county and their trail system. So they look at it as a carry in and carry out. But other than that, all these other amenities are going to be a good part of this trail. So it really has a great potential. All right, so with that, I'm going to hand it over to Jack, and he's going to go through the limits of the trail and some of these connections in a little bit more detail.
All right, thanks, Brendan. So as Brendan said, I just want to give you a general overview of the design and go into some of the specifics. Given the unique character and the location of this trail, we do anticipate heavy demand. In order to provide adequate space for all of the potential users, we're proposing several wide cross sections, all wider than the other trails in the area, with the exception of the walkway. In the areas that are expected to have the most use, we're planning a 22-foot wide split use trail that Brendan described earlier. In this section, we'll have distinct separated facilities for pedestrians and bicyclists separated with a flush median. Pedestrians will have an 8-foot wide walkway. Bicyclists will have a 10-foot wide two-way contraflow bike trail. And there'll be a 4-foot wide flush median that will have lighting in it. It'll be colored and textured. And this median will not only just separate pedestrians and bicyclists, but also provide extra usable width and crossover opportunities. In areas where we don't have quite as much room to work with, or we expect the demand to drop off somewhat, we're planning a 16-foot wide shared use trail. In this scenario, bicyclists and pedestrians would share the trail similar to most of the other trails in the Hudson Valley. However, we're currently actually debating about splitting even this 16-foot wide into an 8-foot wide pedestrian walkway and an 8-foot wide bicycle lane. I think that's going to gain some traction because a lot of the people that we spoke with in the community, they like the idea of having separated bicycle and pedestrian facilities. But even if it's not, 16 feet wide is still a very wide trail section. Most of the Hudson Valley Rail Trail abutting the walkway is 10 to 12 feet wide, and the Dutchess Rail Trail is 13 feet wide. So even in our narrow scenario, we do have a lot of usable space. The roadside trail connections that Brendan talked about on Cedar Street and Fulton Street will be a 10-foot wide shared use trail that'll be adjacent to the existing roadway. There'll be a 5-foot wide grass buffer to separate the pedestrians and bicyclists from the vehicles in the road. This is just a simple rendering of how the split use trail section is intended to look. You can notice the distinct facilities for the pedestrians on the left and the bicycle path on the right. We are going to have lighting down the entire trail as shown here to keep the trail open 24/7. This is a render of the 16-foot wide area where we don't have quite as much room. You can see this looks very familiar to all of the other trails throughout the Hudson Valley, except the key distinction here is the lighting flanking both sides of the trail. This section will be lit as well. One of the more common concerns we heard from the public revolves around trail safety. In order to create an inviting, comfortable environment, the trail will adhere to the recommendations in the Crime Prevention Through Environmental Design Guidebook. Some of the key elements of this guidance are to maximize sight lines, reduce points of constriction, have adequate lighting, especially on this trail as it'll be open 24 hours a day. The ultimate goal is to have enough activity and eyes on the trail that it becomes self-policing, but we realize it takes a little while to get there. So we've been working with emergency services to evaluate the use of cameras along the corridor or at strategic locations, and ensuring that sufficient access points are installed for emergency services and people. The trail will cross several city and town roads. We're evaluating each crossing for appropriate measures that'll be designed based on the characteristics of the roadway, the number of cars, the speed that cars are traveling, and the sight distance at the crossing. There is one crossing that we identified that warrants more than just a simple crosswalk based on those factors, and that's the eastern crossing of Fulton Street. Fulton Street carries over 10,000 cars per day, has steep downhill grades, vehicles that are traveling at high speeds, and we have some poor sight lines. So in order to maximize the safety of this crossing, we're actually going to ramp the trail up and install a bridge to carry the trail over Fulton Street. It's shown in this little rendering and graphic in the bottom. The bridge that we're proposing for this crossing is a historic truss that Dutchess County has sitting in their yards, one of their yards. We actually designed a bridge replacement project for the county probably 10 years ago. It was a road in Dover that crossed over Metro North tracks. And we took this bridge down, and SHPO was interested in the bridge, and they wanted the county to find a historic or an adaptive reuse for it. So we actually took the bridge down, we rehabbed the bridge, repainted it, and it's sitting in the yard waiting for a home. And we thought this would be the perfect project to reutilize this old historic bridge. So we're going to rehab it a little bit more and put it up to carry this trail. So in order for this trail to serve as a link to all the amenities in the area, we're going to provide access at as many locations as we can. There will be ADA compliant access at each street crossing, which include North Hamilton Street, Parker Avenue, West Cedar Street, Fulton Street, Kittredge Place, and North Road. Those are on the west leg. In addition, direct connections will be established to the walkway over the Hudson, Dutchess Rail Trail, Taylor Avenue, Clark Street, Marist Campus, the McCann Arena, the new ShopRite, and other retail at Hudson Heritage. We're also exploring the corridor for opportunities for parks or public space, and we hope to continue to build on the foundation that this trail will set. It's one of the more exciting portions of the trail is actually the interface with the walkway over the Hudson, the Dutchess Rail Trail, and Parker Avenue. There's a lot going on in this northern portion of the city, and we have a real opportunity to make a difference here and construct not just a trail, but other opportunities for public space. At the southern terminus at North Hamilton, there's actually a portion of the trail that abuts the Fallkill. We're looking to open that up, create green space and or a pocket park, and really give the residents of the city an opportunity to get right up against the Fallkill in a nice environment. As you move a little bit further north, the rail bed actually splits off, and there's a little spur that goes out towards the walkway over the Hudson parking lot. The county is going to be working with Scenic Hudson to reimagine this space for public space. There could be areas for farm markets or different, gardens, community gardens. So this area is something that we're going to continue to study with Scenic Hudson to make this the best that we can.
If you guys aren't all aware, this is the location where Scenic Hudson is rehabbing these old industrial buildings. It's I think going to house their headquarters, and they're working diligently on getting that moved along. So hopefully our trail completion at some point. This actually is one of our latter stages of our project, because there is the new Justice Center that's being constructed is actually utilizing the old trail bed for parking and construction staging. So we won't be able to get in there to build this little segment of trail until they're done with the Justice Center, which is another year or close to 2 years in length.
So passing just north of Parker Avenue, the urban trail is going to go right underneath the bridge that essentially separates the Dutchess Rail Trail from the walkway over the Hudson. It's right at the beginning of the Dutchess Rail Trail. In this area, we are installing direct ADA compliant access ramps, both to the west to the walkway over the Hudson and to the east to the Dutchess Rail Trail. This is a prime connection for us. We're going to have wayfinding, and it's going to be a real direct link for everybody, or the residents in the city of Poughkeepsie, to get onto the walkway over the Hudson, and then the walkway users to be able to directly access this trail and head to the retail in the northern section, or Marist, or even get down to the waterfront by Quiet Cove Park.
Well, just one other thing I want to add to that is ultimately on Parker Avenue, it's the speeds aren't so fast here. There's actually, believe it or not, less traffic on Parker Avenue than there is on Fulton, but we're still going to work to create a more of like a boulevard setting. We're going to put some flush medians in to help give some refuge for people crossing the road, help slow traffic down. There's going to be a couple of at-grade crossings here of the urban trail, and then also in front of the new Scenic Hudson facility that's going to connect right to where the walkway is. There'll be some at-grade crossings. So those, although they're going to come in a later stage, we're going to continue to develop that.
So Brennan hit on this earlier, but we are also looking to enhance the connections throughout the northern portion of the city. While the trail proper will end at Hamilton Street, we're looking for other ways to connect the north side to the trail. This could include just wayfinding, ADA enhancements, or other improvements to Mansion Square Park or other assets in the city. We do fully expect this trail to open the door for future funding opportunities to build on the foundation that will be set. So we envision this all happening in building blocks and multiple phases. Our project will be phased and built in segments. Phase 1 is currently scheduled as the eastern leg from Parker Avenue north to Hudson Heritage. Along with that will be the Fulton Street roadside connection. And that portion is going to start construction this year. As Brendan mentioned, the plans are going out for bid this week. There's usually a 4-week bid period, so we won't know who the contractor is for another month or so. But the goal is to get that portion underway and in construction by late spring, early summer this year, and have a portion open by the end of the fall.
And just to let you know how committed the county is to that, I mean, we did send out a small pre-contract to get some of the trees cleared. There, restrictions with the bats and when timeframes that you can clear trees. So that's actually taking place right now. If you're in that area, you'll see some activity of a contractor taking down some of the trees that we need to construct this trail.
Okay. And then the future phases, which include the west leg through Marist campus, the remaining portion of the east leg from Hamilton Street to Parker Avenue, and the West Cedar Street roadside connections are going to be constructed in 2023 and 24. Again, the reason for the 2024 is that the Justice Center is utilizing the rail bed from Hamilton to Parker, so we can't construct the trail there until that project is done. But we should have a leg under construction every year for the next 3 years until this is complete. That's all for our formal presentation, but we're more than happy to answer any questions that people may have.
Guys, if anybody has any questions, just please, either unmute yourself and ask the question, or you could chat in the window and I will ask for you. Thank you for that great presentation. Does anybody have any questions?
I have a question. Thank you first. Thank you so much for this great presentation. I was very excited to see that you mentioned College Hill, and I was wondering if there will be any wayfinding to College Hill from the Dutchess Rail Trail. As you probably know, there is a Greenway grant that is still in the process of being finalized right now. And I know that part of that will have signage leading to College Hill, but I was wondering in your project, is there any special attention to make that more accessible?
Yeah, I do think in one of those latter stages that it has been a subject of conversation with the county, and they are committed to, providing that wayfinding to any place that's within reason of that. And College Hill has been brought up specifically. So.
Oh, great. Good to hear.
Give you an affirmative on that one.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Anita Jones is asking who will secure the maintenance of the trail.
So it's going to be a county-owned facility, and it's going to be maintained by the county parks.
Another question, wondering how the connection will be made to Quiet Cove crossing Route 9.
So as part of the Hudson Heritage Development, part of that approval included signalization at their main entrance on Route 9, which included which is going to include crosswalks and pedestrian crossings of Route 9. We're not intimately familiar with those plans, but we know that that's part of that project, that they're going to have pedestrian signals and a crossing at the main entrance into Hudson Heritage.
Chuck would like to know, how can people in the community help spread the word and build excitement for this great project?
Well, I think the website's still out there. Yep. If there's one of the reasons we certainly like giving these little presentations is because it does, this word of mouth is really what's gonna let everyone know about it. I mean, the county has had some press releases. I think there's certainly going to be some more press releases in the near future as construction starts. But I think it's mostly word of mouth after things get going here. But if there's other opportunities for us to introduce this project, we'd be more than happy to.
Any other questions? I just want to thank you guys, because it's eye-opening to see how much work is going into this project and what wonderful work's being done. Because I think the walkway in the first headline when they were building the bridge, the newspaper said it called the railroad bridge the Great Connector. That's where we come up with the name for the Historical Society. For the historical presentations we do. Anita Jones is asking, will geocaching be allowed on the trail?
What was the question? Geocaching?
Yeah. So it's a fun thing that's done. It's done on the walkway. It's done on the rail trails. People set up geocaching and then they use their phones to, it's like a scavenger hunt, a digital scavenger hunt kind of thing. Okay. So industrial buildings, I'm not sure what the question is there. Will there be safety measures or other plans for those industrial buildings?
The ones along the
along the trail, yeah.
Yeah, I think the the area where you see the most industrial buildings is the Schatz property that I referenced. That property, our understanding is the county has acquired that property now, and they are looking to get that redeveloped in some form. And hopefully this trail creates some stimulus for that to happen. But just on the other end, just in terms of communication and interconnection and things like that, what the county has done is, because we are putting lighting the whole way and we are going to at least install some safety cameras, we are running conduits the whole length of this trail so that in the future, if there is an identified need, or whether it be internet related or something, there's going to be the ability to enhance the corridor. And they didn't, although it's not any part of the initial project right now, the county's made sure that they've left that opportunity open for the future.
This isn't as much as a question, but a great comment. The biking community is very excited about this connection, especially to Quiet Cove and eventually to Smith Street and Poughkeepsie and beyond Hamilton Street. So thank you for that.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think it's some really unique things.
Any plans for security, blue light phones like you see on the campuses?
Well, we did in all of our discussions with emergency services, and Maris being a big input on that too, they haven't found those phones to be very effective. So that we are going to look at cameras. We actually the security individual from the walkway over the Hudson from Parks, we met with him on a couple of occasions to review what's done there. They're opening up the corridor and lighting. We also are adding things like, since we have these light poles that are going to occur every 80 feet or so, we are putting numbers on the light poles, and I can't remember, we're putting east and west legs on them. We're identifying what leg they're on, so that quick references can be given to emergency services, so they'll know exactly where somebody is in the event that they need emergency services. So those are some of the things. And then in terms of these access points are all being designed such that an emergency service vehicle can get there, an emergency service vehicle can get over that bridge that we're putting over Fulton. you know, we have it pretty strategically laid out so that there's good access.
That's great. Any other questions? Since there will be cameras, will they be live streamed as a tourism draw?
I don't think there's, yeah, I don't think that's the plan at the moment. I think, you know, the county is still working on their end to, you know, determine exactly how they're going to obtain the information and share it. I mean, certainly emergency services, but I don't think that's part of it at the moment, but.
There's actually a question for the Great Connector series. Somebody's asking where they can get a recording of the Zoom. The day after we have this presentation once a month, we make a video of the entire presentation. It's put on our website and it's also put on social networking. So you'll be able to watch it into the future. And we also are looking at looping some of these great presentations on the TVs now that are located at the Eastgate Plaza and the Westside Plaza. The website is www.walkway.org. You can see our great events there and the presentations, including the Zoom video. Is there a way, you had a survey going on the website. Is that survey still alive that they can go in and take the survey, or is that something you did in the past?
I don't think the survey is still open, but the website is still open. And, you know, you're mentioning, you know, your, the tape of this presentation. Our public meetings and other meetings that we had that were broadcast are on there, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, if anyone from this group wanted to look at that or share that with anybody, there's other presentations that we've done along with the county and other county officials that you'll find on that website.
Could you give that website, please?
Yeah, it's DutchessUrbanTrail.com, or is it .com or .org?
.com.
.com. Okay. We can probably call it up, right? Yeah. So Dutchess Urban Trail, all one word, .com.
Dutchess County.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dutchess County Urban Trail. I should know this.
That's okay. So any other questions? Well, thank you for this great presentation. I've gotten a lot out of it, and I'm sure that we'll have a lot more once we get off the presentation. But again, we would love to have you back again as it progresses. Maybe that could be another presentation to show later in the year where you're standing on your plans and everything, because I know they do change. So we would love to have you back again if that's possible.
Sure. Yep. And then, you know, even if you went on the website, there's some contact information for Jack or the gentleman from the county that's managing the project. I'm sure we're going to learn a few lessons from even constructing the first phase. So, you know, we might see some refinement over time, or if it stimulates any thought or question or comment that anyone from this group might have, you know, please feel free to share it.
You're just getting really great compliments now. Great stuff. Very exciting on the map. At some point, it would be nice to see an overlay of bus stops. Thank you for being so informative. So thank you again. And again, we would love to invite you to come to Mayfest, which is May 21st and 22nd. I'll send you guys information about that because I think it would be wonderful for you to get the word out about this great project. We have some wonderful events coming up, like the pavilions opening up, and we have a membership with the Walkway. But we have this once a month, the Great Connector series. So hopefully, Jack and you guys, I hope to see you on the next one. And anybody else would like to say anything, please unmute yourself and you can thank them or wave.
Great presentation. Thank you.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Very, very good.
Have a good night, everyone.
All right. You too.
Good night.
Thank you.
Hi, Jamie.
Bye.
Hi, Rachel.